What's going on, speculators? Let's fire up the Futures Fanatic afternoon stream for Thursday. It's Thursday, November 6, 2025. Hope you've all been navigating some up-down roller coaster action, VIX approaching 20 kind of thing. So it's been a good day. We'll talk about, I think we're going to have some movement this afternoon. Got some yesterday that I didn't expect. Before we get started, just wanted to remind everybody of the risk disclosure and disclaimer that is up there. The presentation is going to be for educational purposes only. You know the drill. Opinions expressed are going to be those of the presenter. That's me the entire time. All trades presented should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. That being said, the account that I'll have on the screen most of the session today. Oh, before I get started, remember, trading the Nazi is like a crackhead mowing your lawn. I could not agree more today. So I'm entering today short. Right below VWAP here, we popped up a little bit, resting some orders to sell 67.82 and 85s. And I'm also short the Dow Jones, looking to, I'm just going to bring this up to this made up level of 200. It's kind of made up. It's actually a little swing where we just went from before. And we'll target down here. So we'll watch the S&P today, which is something a little rare. And again, the NASDAQ has been like a letting a crackhead mow your lawn. I don't know if there's any members here, but I got to gloat just a little bit. Did essentially call the 25-2s. Said that maybe 3 times. I went back and listened to the broadcast. Just want to make sure I wasn't crazy because 9 times out of 10 I get it wrong. But today I did get it right. 25-2s. Magical 25-2s. A lot of that was informed by looking for around this 612 level on the Qs, which we got to and broke all the way down to 610. And I sold the 610 QQQ puts for tomorrow. So basically 1 or 0 days till expiration, 1 day till expiration. Tomorrow there'll be 0 DTE. And for members, I will update that entire trade over here. Let me see if I can bring you over here. This is what we were looking at this morning on TradingView. This is the 4-hour on the Qs. And I am targeting this area right here. Boom, 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 right there. So targeting eventually 600s, but into that Friday on a big, nice 4-hour candle. And the 4-hour candle, of course, is reversing now. So we got 1 down, 1 up. We've seen that for a little while. 2 down, 3 down, 2 up. And of course, back here we had this ridiculous, up, up, and away, including the gap. All right, so that's the look over there. Back on the main screen here. Is Tickblaze adding slippage to your trades? Depends on what you're trading. If you trade the NASDAQ, you're going to have huge slippage on anything. I'm not seeing any platform-based slippage to my trading. But to be honest, Washington 300, I'm not sure I looked at the stat where you're bringing that up. So if that's the case, the best way to remove slippage is to not have any non-limit orders working. Never hit the market button. You never want to. There's no reason to ever hit the market button. You want to go long, buy, bid. You want to go short, sell, ask. For all the times you'll miss that trade, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get price improvement. So again, shorting, sell, ask, buying, buy, bid, exiting a long, sell, ask, exiting a short, buy, bid. There you go. So. The Tickblaze profit thing, I don't believe. I never have the profit that you'll see on the chart, so I don't work with that at all. Rhythmic should be including some estimated commissions, I think. So I would use Rhythmic as the guide, or you should be able to mark it on. I don't know if I even have. Yeah, I have Tickblaze up over here. So here's Tickblaze, and I did just 1 trade on the Dow Jones long in these accounts here. And so I got that one up to 2,000. Next week I'm going to be trading exclusively with the futures desk, and I have some specials for people that are interested in that firm. Futures desk is pretty unique. Okay, what's the question here? how can I learn your strategies with the ATR View app? Erickson, the best way to do it is to look at the description down below, grab the Prop Done Right ebook. The Prop Done Right ebook will, first of all, read that, and you're going to get a video lesson from me every single day. And then at various points in that book, I will point you towards other free training and education on everything that I do, which is the only two things that matter in trading is volatility and volume. You cannot draw a 15-minute candle and mark the high and mark the low and then just buy the breakout, and that does not work long term. It doesn't really even teach you anything. So those strategies are fine when you're first starting out, but ultimately you need to understand how to read the market in a truly meaningful and repeatable, mechanical, systematic way as best you can. And so that's how you learn it. Grab that ebook. Look at the description down below. There's also a link to a 30-video course that's absolutely free. And you also can come in and join the trade room for 2 weeks, absolutely free as well. On the trade room, there's nothing to cancel. There's no upsells or anything other than suggesting that you become a member of the group. If you want to take a leap and do something that now over 400 people have done, so that's awesome, 300, little over, sorry, I exaggerate, a little between 300 and 400. I don't know the exact number. We started this thing where for $249, you can join our trade room for 90 days. Let me say this and get it captured here on camera and live. If you buy that thing for $249, which is in the description down below, that is 90 days in the trade room. That is all the indicators and desktops and setups that you can keep forever. And that is lifetime access to the Discord, okay? If you want to continue on in the trade room, it then renews at $99 a month, or you can cancel it. Some silly people have decided to cancel and not continue on with the greatest trading community of all time. But if that's you, that's fine. $249, 90 days from now will take you well into January. Remember, I'm one of those that every day is the first day of the rest of your life. There's no really reason to delay anything. But if you want to take the 2-week free trial, you can do that as well. So that's a long-winded way of saying that's how you get involved. The NinjaTrader settings. So E. Allen, have you ever taken a trial? If you take a trial, you're going to get a cheat sheet, and that cheat sheet will have all the NinjaTrader settings. So you should take a trial. I do answer this often. I trade the NASDAQ on a 16x4. 16x4. Some people trade it on 11x2. Some people trade it larger. So what you're looking at right now is 16x4. Even though I know it says up here Ninja 6x1, this thing that's showing. This is weird with Ninja. They did an update and it didn't remove the. If you go to indicators, I should be able to go to the data type, and so that's showing order flow volume profile right here. You can say remove. You can remove the label right here. So I'll delete that label, so that cleans up the chart a little bit. And now it still says NinjaTrader MES 6x1, which is what the chart I'm on. And over here, this is 16x4. Okay. So today's been marked by really swift, quick movements in both directions. So I would expect this whippy, choppy action to continue, which is great. Lots of fun to trade, I think. Yesterday we watched the Dow march up, and then we got that nice retracement. On the we had a significant reversal day. So Tuesday down, Wednesday up, Thursday back down. So classic stuff. So there you go. NQ 16x4. On Quantower, you can set the same settings and indicators if you don't like Ninja. Yes, you can. So you can kind of set the same thing up on Quantower. You can set it up on Sierra. We got a lot of people that use Sierra. You can, of course, set it up on Tickblaze. Tickblaze, if you end up joining our group or getting involved in any way, I can get you access to this one-click install of Tickblaze, which is this workspace over here. The thing that's cool about Tickblaze is if you want to use these modified Renkos, you don't have to install them or learn much about them. You just have to install the workspace, and it will have all of these settings, including what it doesn't have is the Ninja. Excuse me, it doesn't have the NASDAQ on here because I don't trade the NASDAQ in these small accounts all that often. I have it on in my trade room. So anyway, you can set it up on that, and of course you can set it up on Ninja. And when I say set it up, you do not have to trade this stay in your lane strategy using this bar type. You can use a 5-minute bar if you want. So you're welcome to use a 5-minute bar. The 5-minute bar would be the way it looks over here. So let me take you over to TradingView for just a moment, and here's the stay in your lane using a 5-minute trading the Dow today. And this is also a live account, a real live account. 5,000 to start the month, already up to 6,046. So $1,000 we've made, including $198 today. Okay. Live account at Tasty. Okay. Live account at Tasty. Back over here. Live account at Ninja. Over here. Live account at IB. In fact, there's the performance for IB today. It's right here. I know I'm jumping around a lot, but if you want full disclosure, this is how these things work. So we're going to combine a number of what I call tracking accounts, $5,000 to $10,000 accounts, still trading micros, properly leveraged, proper sized, copy between those and some prop accounts, and now you have yourself, essentially you have yourself a real business. With 10 total prop accounts and 3 or 4 live accounts, that'll be about $50,000 to $60,000 in capital. Now, don't trade your prop accounts as if you can lose the whole balance. Trade it the same way. And it is very realistic with these trading strategies and proper risk management to be able to generate 5 to 10% per month. This is realistic. It's not some bullshit compounding nonsense. And it's not a trade that you'll see all over social media where you hear TradeView order filled, and they have 5 NASDAQ on, or 6 NASDAQ on, or 3 NASDAQ on, or 10 NASDAQ on, and it's falling, and then they make 2,000, they make 3,000, they make 4,000, that's not real. Nothing about it is real, even if it's in a funded account. Depositing $5,000 to $10,000 in a live account and following my strategies will get you done the same as what you do over on the prop programs. All right. So on Quant Tower, you can set the same. If you tried the new copier PropShot is promoting. I didn't know they were promoting a new copier. My understanding was they were going to be building their own. So if that's out there in the market already, my hope for PropShop today is that our accounts don't get liquidated and at 15 minutes before the bell. That's my hope for today. So if there is a new copier that's not the ETP copier, then I was unaware of that. I was told that the built-in copier is not available yet, but often you guys are more up to speed than I am. Definitely some heavy breathing yesterday. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. I just get distracted. I'm a little too close to the mic. I could get one of those screens, but cover up too much of my beautiful face. So just deal with it. Thor copier, that was a thing for a little while, and someone's mentioning they tried and it was absolutely terrible. Here's the thing with these copiers, folks, is that the best way to use them is to copy in between accounts on the same connection. So the Thor copier, and I'm not defending it, I agree, I had a lot of trouble with it. I specifically had trouble with it when I was copying across different prop firms and different connections, which I thought was the coolest thing about it. But it would be very, very difficult to properly keep track of what's really going on there. So I have some videos on this, and as well as it's on my blog as well, where for me, it goes in this order. The absolute best copier is Project X, bar none right now. Especially if you're using it at Top Step, they've implemented something where the followers get the exact same fill to the penny as the lead account. I do not know if that's true if they take you live. Maybe someone knows. I've never been live with TopStep, full disclosure, ever. I've had a number of different funded accounts and taken all kinds of payouts. And I had 5 XFAs for a while just to see how it was all going. I took a few payouts from them and I closed them all down, and then actually bought three new accounts again here, and I think these are getting close. I won't fund them. I'll just cancel them when we pass. Rod, why in the world would you do that? There's many reasons I'm doing that, everybody, but you don't have to worry about it.
Order filled.
I need another series of funded accounts like a hole in the head. But somehow I have to keep up with everything that's going on. So back to copiers for a little bit. Project X, bar none the best. The built-in copier at Quant Tower is very good. Okay. But for multi-propping, I think the best combination is Replicanto or affordable indicators on Ninja when connected to Trade accounts. If you've been trading as long as I have and you have a grandfathered license at Ninja, which probably no one listening to my voice does, I am able to connect to multiple Rhythmic accounts on Ninja as well. I don't think anyone else can do that. So technically I could connect to 5 or 6 Rhythmic prop firms, a bunch of Trade prop firms, see all those connections on my control center, and then copy in between all of them using affordable indicators or Replicanto. Yes, I agree. Quant Towers is very good. If you have another one that you really like, I mean, the other ones that are out there, ETP, not a fan. TradeSyncer, very expensive, and I'm not a fan of cloud-based stuff either. And the other thing on copiers, and I didn't mean to get on this tangent too much, is just be careful what's going on with the rules at various firms. So I've mentioned this in the blog post and the video I did on this. To my knowledge, Bullinox is still one that does not allow external signals. What does that mean? That means if you connected to Bullinox and then you were sending a signal to Bullinox from a copier from another platform, they can see that in the tag ID in Rhythmic and you're screwed. So don't do that. Now, I copy over here, I copy Bullinox accounts, but I copy them on a Ninja instance that's on its own VPS and using its own instance of Replicanto. And if by now, if you're not thoroughly confused, then you are a chat pro.
Order filled.
We have a song in our group, one of the hundreds of AI songs we have, and it's the chorus is, "This could go one of two ways." This is definitely a market here into the close that could go one of two ways, and I don't even mean a little bit. I mean S&P 20, 30 points in one direction or another. Just randomly here, we'll see what I'm hoping it's short, but hope is not a strategy. We're just hovering right around a very flat VWAP. So this is a total toss-up. According to the mean reversion part of stay in your lane, you would not have any positions on here, nor would you be resting orders here. The first place you would rest an order is way up here to short the plus twos. But we've had so much range. And the target would be down here at POC. Okay, so this is informed by this little swing level here at 67.85. We almost got there, but really your first short on the range trade would be 68.05, targeting VWAP. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. But the whole idea behind what I talk about is just frameworks, right? Not sticky notes everywhere. You have to second guess yourself or whatever. When you're first starting out, don't fiddle in the middle. If you're trading a mean reversion strategy, wait for the expansion, wait for the levels that are going to be easier to manage risk, not higher probability win rates, okay? Just easier to manage risk. Your entire thinking, if you're going to filter through anything, is how can this fuck me? I know that's a very negative way of thinking about life, but and trading, but try to rewire your brain, not how much money I can make or whatever. Where could this go wrong? You know? So in the back of my mind, which is going on a lot recently on finally we're getting some volatility, how my shorts could go wrong is one little announcement that the government's reopened, and I think that's good for 100 S&P points to the upside. Do you guys agree? I mean, I have no idea. I could have tomorrow's newspaper and still mess it up. But in the back of my mind is I need to stay really light when I'm short right now, even on days that look like they're just bleeding to the downside, because that little news event could absolutely screw me. Now, of course, if you trade with stops and targets in place, you might have some slippage on a stop out like that, but for the most part, you should be okay, right? I don't trade with stops, so I have to be extra careful or aware of what's happening in terms of, let me see if is the Dow doing anything for us? Yeah, so the Dow's coming down a little bit. I'm going to actually cover one right here.
Order filled.
So I'm covering that. And we're going to hold my S&P short until VPOC right there. Anybody short S&P along with me? Have a similar position on?
Order canceled.
You don't have any longs on the NASDAQ until you get to 25 threes. At 25 threes, I'll be buying a little NASDAQ. Yeah, dropped a little F-bomb there, but change it to however you feel appropriate. Like, how can this not work out, right? I had a very, very, one of the largest trades that I've had on in a couple years. I'm already blanking. I think it was about a month ago when gold was hitting 4,400 one night. Had a long conversation with two of my long respected trading buddies, both guys that have accounts that are 10 times the size of my accounts, and my accounts aren't that small. And we went through all the scenarios of, the next leg, but everything pointed to that being super extended up there and the narratives just being silly. And we had a lot of other internals that now I had been calling for a 500 point single session down day in gold. We ended up getting the 500 points from 4,400 to 3,900 over maybe 6 or 7 sessions, but we had a couple 200 point down sessions in there. But anyway, the whole analysis was not how much I could make or if I'm going to be a hero, I'm going to catch the absolute top. I mean, look, there's a little bit of ego in trading, especially when you're doing it for a while, and there's a fine line between ego and confidence too, right? Anyhow, that was one of the bigger trades that I had on, and of course it did end up working out. I don't even know how I got on that topic, but so anyone short the MES here? Do you ever use weekly VWAP? John, I don't. I don't really look at, and I also don't go back and anchor my VWAP to any higher time frames. My analysis for higher time frames doesn't really affect or influence what I'm doing and teach for active day trading. In fact, I often suggest that you don't even look back more than a day or two. You can look at prior sessions POC. So for instance, the levels on can see how I'm looking to cover this short right here at POC, right? Is that on the screen? Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. So the only levels that I'm concerned with is what happened in the prior day. So good question about that, but no, on the time frames I keep it really to daily. Everything that I do on higher time frame stuff, like my Q's position that I showed earlier, I didn't show the position, but I showed the chart. So over here. This is a 4-hour. The blue line is a 55 EMA. The orange line is a 233 EMA, and then I have a visible range profile, which is going to put POC on that at around 599s. Mark my words, we're going to 599s this year before we go higher. Did you hear this again? We're going to 600 before we go higher. Grab that. That might not age well. But anyway, I'm talking my own book. And so far looking okay. I mean, that's a kind of a sloppy pattern to be making some new highs anytime recent in the recent. But shit, these new markets, they do whatever they want. Some good news comes out with NVIDIA, it gets back over 205 and all bets are off. All right. Do I build a position? So on that particular night, when we were hitting about 4,400, I was already short from 4,360-ish for 4 full gold GC contracts. So it was almost like a call stupid, but the way I expressed that trade was I sold 25 4,400 calls. Anyone want to guess what the premium was on them that night? Basically the at the money calls. I'll tell you, it's $44. So $44. So $4,400 per contract. I covered them for $510 a contract. Sold them for $4,400. Covered them for $510. Damn it! Why are you going up? All right, I am going to short touch of VWAP here.
Order submitted.
Going to short a little touch of VWAP.
Order submitted.
Nasdaq couldn't quite get down to the 25 threes there, so I wasn't really able to get a long on.
Order submitted. Order filled.
So on the gold trade, I didn't build a position. On this Qs trade, I have built a position over time. I've traded I try to target that no more than 50%. Like let's say I enter at a price short 500 shares. Okay? And it goes against me. Let's say I'm long and I enter 500 shares and it goes against me. I have another level where I'd like to average down or however you want to think of it, buy more. Whenever I'm averaging down or buying more, I can only buy the same or less amount of shares, not more. So no martingale thing. You buy 500, I can't buy 1,000. I allow myself to buy 250 or 500 max. And then now I have added at a better price. And now let's say we go back up, I cover. Now I have to add at better prices, add to winners before I can add to an unprofitable position again. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but it's something that I learned to do a long time ago, and it's worked out really, really well for me. So if I want to earn the right to average down or trade around a position and short more at a higher price or buy more at a lower price, I have to have already added to the profitable position, at least on a one-to-one basis. In other words, no more than half of my trades can be adding to an unprofitable position. That forces me to add back in at higher prices once it starts to go back in my favor. And then, of course, if it doesn't, if you add and it just continues to go lower, then you have to manage risk accordingly, whatever that is. If it's portfolio risk, whatever percentage of your portfolio, that's... So on the Qs trade, my original entry was around 612 to 615. Then there was a gap higher all the way up to 620-ish or 618s. Then the highs of the year, whatever, around 638s or something like that. And I'm short. So I have added back in at lower prices than my original entry 2 times, and I have added at worse prices 2 times as well. All right, talking through all that, let's see if we can go ahead and hit target here on the Dow or the S&P.
Order submitted. Order filled. Order filled.
Time for a quick commercial. Again, you can check the description down below for the ebook, for access to the video course, for all the things that we offer for free to find out a little bit more about our group. If you're the type of person that can take a leap of faith, and $250 is what you got in your seat cushions, I hope some of you are in that situation. Take a little gamble. Just join the group for 90 days. Come in as a member. Get all the member benefits. That's also down below as well. All right, S&P, let's go. So, question about the choice to express a trade as an option versus versus the underlying. You have to know a little bit about the way futures options work, and it's extremely unique and highly advantageous versus equity options. If you have enough money, you should never trade an equity option. That makes no sense. 0 cents. Why? Why not get 100 deltas and just... Now, if you are someone who believes that you want to gamma scalp or use theta decay or try to guess which direction something goes in earnings, or believe all this nonsense that they teach at Tasty, that you have to have all these crazy diagonals and spreads and things on, you have to do that because you don't have enough money. You're broke. These are expensive stocks and you have to spread and stuff like that. Okay? So equity options have their leverage built in by a factor of what you're controlling as the number of shares relative to the contract that you buy, right? So you will sell a put spread or sell a call spread or buy a call spread or buy a put spread or do whatever you do, or sometimes maybe have true naked strangles or straddles on. But you have to do that and define your risk because of all the reasons that you really can't afford to be long or short 1,000 shares of some stock that costs $500 or $600 or something. Now let's look at options on futures. Options on futures represent and are assignable as one contract. So if I want to short gold and I have a signal and I believe that there is a reason to feel that the probabilities are in my favor to be short at a particular level. In this case, we'll talk about 4,400 in gold. Yes, if I just short the underlying, I short 10 contracts, I have 100 deltas, right? It's not even an option. As it goes down, I make every little last tick relative to the price and tick increment of gold from where I enter. But rather than short 10, I can choose to short 10 4,400 calls, in other words, sell a call, a naked call, and bring in a huge amount of premium, which is giving me a buffer, and synthetically the underlying is the same. So if you understand options, you'll understand the power of future options that would not apply to. So on my Qs, it's the reason that I'm just short Qs. I'm just short the Qs. I covered 250 shares actually today, so I have 2,250 shares short of the Qs. I don't have to worry about time. I don't have to worry about strike. I don't have to worry about magnitude of a move. You'd have to be concerned with all those things. If I'm just going to be, I don't want to be a dick for a tick. I'm just going to take this here. Okay. So all those things are a concern if I'm in a put, right? I got to pick a strike. I got to pick get the thing right on timing. So on that trade, if the market had continued to go higher, if it had gone above 44.40s-ish, I would technically be losing because the price would be higher than the premium that I brought in. But the other benefit of futures options relative to the underlying is how easy it is to hedge and trade around a position. If I do not want to be short at 4,400 when I sell a 4,400 call, all I have to do is buy the underlying. Same thing, if I'm short a put and I don't want to be assigned at a price that's lower than the price that I sold the put for, I just short the underlying. And not 10 of the underlying or 100 of the underlying, I just short one. Or in the case of gold, if I wanted to hedge or box a loss on a short call position at 4,400, suck it. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to, I made almost no money in this account here today, so I'm going to take a little risk here and buy this touch of -2s. Could get ugly. It could get ugly. We're down in these accounts too.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, back to the live account. So I'm now long gold in a couple prop accounts. Excuse me, not gold, NASDAQ. And here we are short Dow and short S&P. On the Dow, I'm targeting 47 even about. I need to actually sell another one here.
Order filled.
Yeah, the Nasdaq's just a typical thing today. It just probably wiped so many people out, and it didn't need to, but
order canceled.
We're now into the bid zone, nicely into the bid zone.
Order canceled. Order canceled.
I am canceling some Nasdaq orders that I had down below back at the 25.2s. This thing is selling off pretty nicely here. All right, now this is the fun part. Can we hold for the -2s? I mean, that's a big drop. So we got 3 minutes left till the market on close orders. Again, this is a live trade and a real account, so I'm just going to hold, gang. For the joke that I make all the time in the trade room is whenever you're short, it never hits the -2s. Whenever you're long, it just rockets to the -2s. Now, the thing is though, we have so much nice range today because the ATR on the S&P is up to 86. That's the 7-day ATR. If we go ahead and measure this right here and go there, you can see we have the full bands are 109, so that's some nice range expansion. I don't want to have a 2 lot
Order
down here.
canceled. Order submitted.
1 lot. Okay. I did have a 2 lot down there because that's the most fun thing in trading is target and reverse. There's nothing more fun than target and reverse, but
Order filled.
anyhow, in prop land, I would take profits right here. There's not much time left. I would just take these profits here at, that's your target, by the way, too. If you're short from VWAP, you can take target right here at POC, which is this yellow line right here, or down here at 67.50. Now you'll notice also if you watch my stream and stuff, I have no jigsaw up. I have no footprint charts. I understand that many of you are being taught that you need all that additional information, or somehow it I don't know what it does for people, okay? And I know there's a lot of people out there with their balls and their liquidity levels and all those things. If that helps you and truly helps you hold something a little longer or be sized a little bigger or whatever, but if it doesn't, if you can't absolutely point to, in fact, if more times than not it's keeping you out of a trade, that's not helping you. Put the order on the line, okay? On this chart here, there's a bunch of lines. Some of them have significance, some of them don't. There's a line right here, a swing level. There's a line right here, VWAP, very important. There's a line right here, the volume point of control. There's a line down here, -1s, 1 standard deviation. There's a line down here, 2 standard deviations. There's a volume cliff right here at 67.37. I have all the information I need. I don't need anything else. Plus, I'm trading micros in an account that's up really nicely today, so who gives a crap if it reverses hard on me? Who cares? But if you run a buy stop right here, okay, and I'm not saying you can't. Again, I would have already taken profits on a sim trade, right? Right here already. Don't need to be a dick for a tick. But if you run a buy stop here and you trail the buy stop down, the one thing that you're guaranteed is to never hit the -2, to never get that big winning trade. That's the other thing that's great about micros. They allow you to stay in trades. I think they allow you to stay in trades because your risk is manageable. Same thing on this Dow. The Dow, I'm going to target 47.2s. Actually, I'm going to take one off right here because I added one. I forgot I added one. So I have a 2 lot on there. Okay? So now I'm going to leave this down here.
Order submitted.
So on the S&P, waiting for the -2s on the Dow Jones, just took one just shy of the -1s. There's a lot of people out there with their balls. Sarb, yes, do not trade. So if you're connecting to Rhythmic on Ninja using Bullinox and then Tradivate for Apex, just make sure that your signals are not coming from Apex. Select Bullinox as your lead, as your account that is your lead account. Does that make sense? That's important. So if you're connecting Bullinox Rhythmic and Tradivate Apex or Tradivate anywhere else, just don't have your lead account be coming from a Tradivate account. Have it come from an Apex account. Okay, now I'm going to get aggressive and actually short POC.
Order submitted.
Okay. Once price gets below the T line on here, this is a 233 on the tick, I can really start getting aggressive and just see it broke down and then it came up back here to test, put in a little swing. On the next test, it would be right up here. As long as it stays below this level, I can just keep shorting. As soon as it gets above the level, I have to reconsider, but obviously there's another short up here as well. You didn't understand anything I was explaining? That's probably pretty typical. Imagine when we start dubbing my live streams into Spanish or Mandarin. Do I trade live daily? Yes, absolutely I do. Grab the ebook in the description down below or look for our 2-week free trial. Come over to my website over here, tradersdevgroup.com. Look at my goofy face. See where it says live streaming right here, baby? That's because I'm live streaming. No, this is just going to take you to a sign-up page for the 2-week free trial. That's right. Por supuesto, futuros en español. How's my accent, Clay? Pretty bad? That wasn't probably that bad. Por supuesto, futuros en español. Imagine me trying to explain a rhythmic and trade of 8 connection, and here we go. Suck it, S&P.
Order filled.
We need a weak close here. I just switched over to the Dow. Man, you have all kinds of opportunities to cover your short at around 67.50. There was a lot of people calling for 67.50 this morning. Excelente. Hey, Roderick. Hey, Alon. What's going on? Hey, if you sign up to be a member for only $249, you can be in Fun Day Friday tomorrow as a full-on member. Then eventually you can be lifetime, and my team convinced me that the way I make lifetime valuable is not just lifetime access to the trade room, because I could get hit by a bus or anything could happen, but you're going to get access to special Discord channels only for lifetime members where I will walk you through and cover the entire Qs trade. I'll put, when and if the big trades come up again, I'll put the entire theory and logic in there. You can tail if you want, but you certainly can learn a heck of a lot. I don't know how many people out there can afford to be short 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 or 5,000 Qs, but even if it's 100, you could pay for your entire lifetime on 100 shares. And if I'm not wrong on AppLovin, and today I'm definitely wrong, but I'm going to ride AppLovin down to about 300.
Order filled.
There we go. Here we go, Dow. Come on. All right, I'm just going to take that right there. Down $150 on those stupid Q longs that I got into at 25 280s. Question: what is quant trader here? Are you trading 4 instruments as correlated time? No. So Alon, in here, I'm pushing buttons like a drunk monkey with a framework. So this is just pure discretionary trading. I do trade all major the stock indices, but the focus of everything I teach and train on is to get through these prop programs properly. So it has nothing to do with quant trading or anything like that. We're just looking to manage risk in small accounts. We're going to do that mostly with the Dow Jones and the MES. Stay away from the NASDAQ and the Russell. They're just a little bit more squirrely. But the strategy that you're seeing here, I do have a fully automated, worked up, brilliant version of it that I used to run back in the day, which accounts for both the... That's why I actually have T-line on here, because this is a bit of a trend filter and a sizing filter. So the instruments we trade is the MYM, the MES in that order. Okay, then MGC gold, then MBT Bitcoin. This is my ranking. Okay. Then MCL, then MNQ, then M2K. And for those that can and are at firms that can, you should also have a little bit of treasuries in there, the ZT as well as the ZN. Nice day for the ZN today, huh? Finally. All right, so there's the answer to that. How much is lifetime? We run a car dealership, so every car goes off the lot at a different price. No, I kid. $2,500. $2,500. Rod, could you explain a little bit more on the 100 Qs? What I mean is that I'm short the Qs, and if you just had 100 shares from anywhere in here, you would be up pretty nicely. So lifetime members will be able to follow along. And just to be clear, though, I do not do a lot of thematic or stock trading or anything like that. So there might be 5 to 6 ideas an entire year. Okay, I don't want to oversell this. I'm not giving you every little thing I did on a day trading basis. These are bigger thematic things. I didn't need that kind of close. Oh well. Little pop. Maybe we got a drop. All right, I'm going to sell this here.
Order filled.
And see if I can get another move down here.
Order submitted.
A little bit of short covering into the close, maybe. So that's all I mean there. Lifetime $2,500. Where in Vegas would you get hit by a bus? Oh, you can get hit by... That's right. There's not that many buses. Maybe a Zook car could take me out. Like a Zook car. Anything can happen. Thanks for giving you the confidence during the last 30 minutes. All right. Well, you're the one who's become confident. You're just watching what I'm doing. It's pretty simple. I'm only going to use Bullnock Rhythmic lead account for Bullnock's accounts. There you go. Do that. Yes. Just don't be sending signals to Bullnox that don't originate from a Bullnox account. Okay. All right. You good. You good. Damn it. All right. Maybe we get another short on here.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
I do not sell the automated anything. So what you can do, so the question is, where can you find automated? Also, if you trade in the evening, if the evening is anything but the New York stock open, don't trade these strategies. In fact, you're not going to learn how to do anything unless you trade the open of the market you're trading. Asian open, London open, or New York open. Don't trade anything else. If you can't trade one of those 3 sessions for about 2 hours at the opens of those, then you're really putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. The vast majority of the positioning and the movement and all those things I always love when people talk about trend day or whatever, and they make that determination in the first 30 minutes of the day. I mean, we don't know, right? But the chance for the most amount of two-way action is going to take place in those particular times. If you want to automate this stuff, you learn the theory and logic behind any strategy, and then first start by automating your entries. Don't try to come up with something that does trade management and dynamic sizing and all that stuff. It'll never work. We're all retail traders. We don't have a staff of 1,000 computer scientists to constantly recalibrate everything, right? But what's very easy to teach a computer is buy this line right here, right? Buy this line, or in some instances, cover. Buy this line or cover. All right, so this account that has about $5,700 in it, and I am short 3. So it's important to understand at Ninja, they switch over to maintenance margin at 145. By the way, do we get stopped out of our Tickblaze accounts? I don't think so. I think I'm still logged in here. Yes. Okay, good. Let's make sure there's no orders. Cancel this order.
Order canceled.
Okay, there we go. So I am going to hold this for a little bit. We'll see. I might close it out before the end of the session, but I'm giving back a decent amount of gains here, but c'est la vie, so is life. All right, anything else here? Oh, you're still seeing my QQQ screen? Oh, sorry. I apologize. Gosh, darn it. Yes, I apologize. There we go. So short the MES and short the MYM, and giving back some of the gains. Again, the whole time I had said in sim accounts, just take your profit at 67.49s, but I got a little bit. All right, thank you. Screen. No, the Russell's squirrely and the Russell's fine. It's just I also like that I can see the internals on the Dow pretty easy. And by internals, I simply just mean taking a look at 30 stocks and seeing what's going on. I mean, obviously, Salesforce getting hurt today and a lot of others. The Russell is made up of just a bunch of money losing stocks and small banks and just a bunch of garbage. And it's all the micros are pretty illiquid. But they're liquid enough, of course, for us to do what we're doing. And the vast majority of people listening to my voice are trading prop programs on sim accounts, so who cares? Liquidity is really overrated for the game that we're playing. But yeah, Russell's a fine instrument. It tends to be pretty squirrely. And it goes almost completely dead after hours for a little while too, whereas NASDAQ S&P will have some nice continuation and follow through. Really, they just turn off the lights in the Russell at the market on close orders. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not showing my QQQ screen anymore, right? We're good? Any last questions for today? Sound like a broken record here. It really does help if you hit the like button. I really appreciate that. If you think anybody else could benefit from learning how to do this right, I just was, my buddy John Netto was just over last night. We were thinking about all these things. We've been talking for like 8 years about doing stuff together other than just grabbing coffee at the gym. I think we might finally do stuff, but the problem is, and no offense to my audience, is we'd have to dumb it down a lot for his stuff to be very useful. But we were thinking of doing a podcast called The Adults in the Room. We would be the adults in the room telling you how things work in the real world. The Adults in the Room Futures Podcast. Would it be smart to do 150K accounts to give myself more room if I stick to 3 micros? Nathan or Nathaniel, great question. We've been all over the place on these account sizes. I'm going to start doing something next week again with the futures desk, and their account sizes are drawdown based, which is great. You can buy 1,000 in drawdown, and then up to $250 increments. So you could buy 1,000 or 1,250 or 1,500 or 2,000 or 2,500 or all the way up to 4,000. So they don't have this notional account value, but of course the rest of the world's all notional. So I personally have switched from the 50s to the 150s for the very nature of, yes, giving myself a little bit more room. Now, I've earned the right to have $800 daily risk budgets, but I wouldn't have $800 daily risk budgets on $50,000 accounts because that would be too much room in a $2,500 drawdown, right, or $3,000 drawdown. So if you can take the time, what I suggest people do not do is buy a 150. There's a $9,000 profit objective, and we're talking about the evaluations, not the direct to funded ones. This is kind of pissing me off to give back, I don't know, whatever. Gave back about $75 here. But, oh well, such is life. So as long as you have the discipline and the patience to go through these things, trading three to four micros, take the time it takes, have the budget to repay the subscription fees if you have to pay those subscription fees, because once you get the 150s and you cash flow them, they're just like golden. Now that being said, on the flip side, we have a lot of people that have $50,000 accounts with $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 balances in them now. And there's no risk of them ever losing those because the way they got to those balances is slow and steady. And now just every single time they're permitted, they can take almost the max payout that they want. So lots of different ways to get there. All right. Yeah, this whole thing would have been a long down here, everybody. So just so you got to learn these things, but this all would have been a long. I mean, whether you do an ad when it falls, but this right here is you're long from 67.50 and your target is POC or VWAP. So I'm holding a short and just keep talking, and hope is not a strategy, but I'm hopeful that maybe I can get lucky here and it goes back my direction. I don't really care. All right, that'll be it for today. I don't think I missed anything else. Stay green, trade like you mean it. Hope to see some new either members or trial members tomorrow. Say hi if it's your first time finding this and you found out about the trade room or the website. Enjoy. Stay green, trade like you mean it. We'll see you at the next one. Be good. Bye.